Well, hello everyone. This is Al Fadi, and welcome back to a continuation of this amazing video series. Thank you for all of your, of course, interactions with us and comments. Obviously, the series that we're referring to is Mecca, A Search for a Place. And so far, we laid out enough information to show that the historical narrative about Mecca cannot be true if we rely on the standard Islamic narrative. Today, we're going to start a series of videos to debunk many of these narratives, including with the historical one. With that in mind, of course, we turn our attention to our dear brother, Dr. J. Dr. J, welcome back. And today, I guess we are going to start debunking some of these narratives.
Yes, and we need to do that because there are Muslims who are coming up with, hey, listen, you say there's no Muhammad. Yes, we have found Muhammad. In fact, let's look at the history. Muhammad is well known, and Mecca is well known, and Islam is well known, and the Quran is well known long before the 7th century, especially Mecca. Now, of course, Muhammad would have not been well known in the Quran, but Mecca, they have to find Mecca because Mecca is a place. Mecca has geographical location, it has coordinates, and it is claimed it has a history that goes right back to Adam and Eve from the very beginning. So they've got to find some kind of support. And they have been troving through trying to find any reference to this. And they have found 3 references historically for Mecca. Now, Ian D. Morris, I don't know if you know that name. Ian D. Morris has really been on my radar. He has probably done the best work of debunking everyone. So what I'm going to be sharing with you comes from both Ian D. Morris and also Dan Gibson on Makaraba. But let's go with what we're finding, and let's look at the first one. And this one, it has to do with Agatharchides. I hope I've pronounced it correctly. Agatharchides, I don't know exactly how to do it, but let's go with Agatharchides in the 2nd century BC. So we're talking about 900 years before the time of Islam, or 800 years before the time of Islam. You have supposedly this great temple for all the Arabs. And what Muslims are saying is this: that back in the 2nd century BC, Agatharchides was a historian. He referred to this temple for all Arabs. I've blackened it in there. I made it bold there so you can see that that's the phrase they're looking at. This temple for all Arabs, and he locates it 90 kilometers from the Tiran Island. Well, we know where the Tiran Island is there. You can see it on the map. It's right there at the opening of the Gulf of Aqaba. There's the Gulf of Aqaba. And the Tiran Island is well known. It's always been there. There's lots of historical support for it. Remember we talked about earlier in another episode about all the ports along the western coast. Well, when they got up to at the top of the Egyptian coast, they went across to the Tiran Islands, and that's how they found their way into Aqaba to get all the way up to what is Eilat today before they went on up to Petra. That's how they get to their trade up through Petra. So the Tiran Island is well documented. And according to Agatharchides in the 2nd century, there was this temple for all the Arabs, and that's what rings the bell. Temple must be the Masjid al-Haram, or the Kaaba, because early name was temple, now we call it the Kaaba today in Arabic. That's what it's referring to. Well, that's okay until you look at a map, and that's why we're going to look at the map again. Take a look at the map and see what we find. Now, Wadi Ainuna is 90 kilometers away. That is 90 kilometers away. And there is a temple. It is well known. This is part of Arabia Petraea. This is the Roman era. This is the Roman part. What is today Arabia Petraea? This is where, remember we talked about this Noam project. The Noam project that Mohammed bin Salman is putting together. This is the area that he's actually using. We know that the Tiran Island going right up to Tabuk will be that line that'll be 110 miles long. Well, so we're in the same area. Well, this has an enormous amount of history. And the history is very clear that there is a temple in Wadi Ainuna up in the wadi. It comes up the wadi. Wadi means like a gully or place where water runs down. And it's up on the top of that wadi is this temple. And it was there in the 2nd century BC. Now, here's a problem.
What about Petra? I mean, could we shift this line to get it towards Petra, or this is part of the Petraean, region? Basically?
Arabia Petraea is the name of the whole area. We're going to get to that. Just let's stop because we're going to answer that question when we get a little further on. But where is Wadi Ainuna in relation to Mecca? Well, to do that, we need to look at this map here. And there is Wadi Ainuna. There is Mecca. How many kilometers do you see? 962 kilometers further south is Mecca. So what Agatharchides was referring to had nothing to do with Mecca. So let's go back then to this reference to all the Arabs. Because everybody says, all the Arabs, that must mean Mecca because that's part of Arabia. No, it wasn't. Take a look at this map here. This map is from 125 AD. So now we're in the 2nd century AD, not in BC. And Arabia Petraea is right here. It is this red rectangle that you see right here. That is as far as civilization went. For the Romans, which is their map here, that was a civilized world. Arabia Petraea was just this part of it. You notice everything else is white. That was all barbaric. That was uncivilized. Anything further east and anything further south, except for Petra. Petra's right there. See, Petra is right there in Arabia. That's why it's named Arabia Petraea, because of Petra, answering your question. So where is Wadi Ainuna? Wadi Ainuna is right there. It's within Petra. Arabia Petraea. That makes sense. Wadi Ainur is not Mecca, however. It is nothing more than what was Arabia at that time. Let's go to the next one. I want to do the next one along with this, and this is Pliny's reference in 79 AD to Damanogeris. Damanogeris, according to Muslims, is another reference to Mecca. Now, it's just a name, nothing more. But
now you're getting these from Robert Hoyland's work.
No, this is not from Robert Hoyland. These are from Muslims.
Okay.
Robert Hoyland doesn't say anything about this.
Okay. I just want to clarify the source. Yeah, that's all.
These are Muslims who are making this claim, and Ian de Morris, who's debunking every one of them.
Got it.
Pliny the Elder, his date's 79 AD, so the 1st century AD. He talks. He's quoting a Mauritanian scholar who's named Juba II. Living in Rome. So he's up in Rome and he's quoting him, and he talks about the Arabian Peninsula. And he mentions that one of the places in his description was a reference to Damanogeris Regio. Damanogeris Regio is an important place. He doesn't say much more than that. In 1970, Herman von Wissmann, a geographer, proposed that this was the territory belonging to the Qurayshi as well as Mecca and its environs. And as a result, the Muslims grabbed on this and they start putting it up all over the world. And now it's on the internet, now that the internet has been invented. And everybody is saying this is another proof for what we now know today as Mecca, or what was always known as Mecca. Here's the problem, and Ian de Morris puts this out. Read what Juba II says. Just look at those arrows. That is what Juba II is talking about. He talks about the Kharaks. That's the city. Khaybar today, and he's talking about coming down the western coast of this is the Persian Gulf, going up through the Straits of Hormuz, down through Oman, and stopping there. As he's going along that route, he drops in the name Damanogeris. Do you see a problem with that? Where's Mecca, and where is Damanogeris?
Mecca on the other side. Could it be that they confused Kharaks with Quraysh?
They thought Kharaks was Khaybar over here. They thought it was over this side. No, this is the Kharaks that is in what is today Iraq. That's the Iraqian capital, because nobody really cared about this. There would be Juba II would never have come down the western coast. He was coming down the eastern coast of Arabia. They've got the wrong coast, and that's why today we no longer do that. It's the eastern coast. Now, in the next episode, I want to really debunk the most important theory about Mecca, the most important claim, and that is Makaraba. That's going to take a little bit more time, so that's why I didn't put it with these two here. But so you can see, Agatharchides and Damanogeris, coming from Juba II, both of them have been completely debunked just by looking at a map and following what the places that they name. We're going to do the same thing with Makaraba in the next episode.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, brother. Hopefully everyone is enjoying this. Make sure you look at these videos, folks, one by one, because each one will contain primarily one at least issue that we're trying to debunk. If it is too short, sometimes we add a second one. So hopefully you will find them helpful in your own work and your own research. Until we meet again next time, God bless you. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, Sira International, and click on the bell so that you receive notifications whenever we publish a new video or go live. I would also like to appeal to you to consider becoming a Patreon patron by clicking the link right below. By doing so, you can give towards the production of these videos. There are also other options for you where you can give to our channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.